OT was quite a long-winded route. I'm a little bit older than some of the usual students, so I've just turned 30. I did go to university when I was 19. I studied applied drama with creative writing, having got A-levels in English and drama because I enjoyed those subjects and it's what I was good at and was told I was good at. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, and that degree course didn't have a direct career route. But what it did do was lead me to getting lots of experience with different groups of people. So I worked with children, adults with learning disabilities, which I loved, older people as well. And I came to realise that what I really enjoyed was just being with people and really helping and enabling people. I got several jobs with supporting students with special educational needs. I actually started to look into teaching. During that time, my partner became very ill, and so I was caring for him. It became really clear to me just how important it was to enable him to do the things in life that he really wanted to do, and how important that was to me as well. And quality of life became something that I was really passionate about. And it was during that time that I found out about occupational therapy through a friend. And having read up about it and watched some videos about the course at Southampton, I realised that that was what I really wanted to be doing. That's how I got to OT.
So when I was 16, I had 6 months work experience up at the hospice on the Isle of Wight. So I did a bit of physio, I did a bit of OT. I decided to go down the OT route, and I did a day shadowing an occupational therapist up at the hospital. After that day, it was like, right, that's what I want to do. So I decided to do A-levels at sixth form. My first year I took maths, psychology and biology. I didn't do too well in them. I got 2 E's and a U. So I decided to completely scrap it and redo the whole year of sixth form. I joined a different sixth form and I took biology and then double health and social care, which was a BTEC, but it was equivalent to 2 A-levels. I did that as it was a bit more relevant to healthcare, as well as being at sixth form. I did a bit more volunteering and a bit more shadowing as an OT. I applied to go to 4 or 5 different universities you can apply to, and I've always wanted to be close to home. Once I got into the University of Southampton, I was absolutely thrilled. It was probably definitely the best thing that I've done because I absolutely love the course. And during my time being at uni, I also was a carer for 6 months, which got me a lot of manual handling training, which was very beneficial for the course. So definitely good to get your experience in healthcare.
When I was in college, I actually studied law, English and RS, which at the time I found very interesting, but realised in my first year that these were not something I wanted to carry on at university. I've always been interested in healthcare as I love to work with people, so looked on their website and found OT. I had never ever heard of it before, as unfortunately most people haven't. So I did a lot of research and I met quite a few OTs and actually just fell in love with it. I realised it's exactly what I wanted to do. I applied to Southampton on a bit of a whim because I didn't have a science A-level, so I didn't really think I'd get in, but I actually did and I was accepted. However, unfortunately on my results day, I didn't get the grades that I needed. I could have gone to my backup choice, but I actually live at home and this was something I really wanted to do. And having fallen in love with Southampton, I just couldn't picture myself anywhere else. So I did an access course, which gave me the qualifications to apply to Southampton. And again, I was accepted, which was great. Even if you don't have a science A-level, it's still worth applying to the course. Get a lot of work experience, which doesn't have to be specifically with an OT. I had experience in retail, a physio. During my access course year, I worked in a primary school, which made me realise that I love working with children. And so potentially for me, paediatric occupational therapy will be the career path that I go down. However, one thing I love about OT is you're trained in everything, and so there's the ability to go anywhere and everywhere with it. One thing I will say is I am so happy with my choice, and studying at OT at Southampton has honestly been amazing.
The road that has led to here has been long and meandering. Left school at 16 and I didn't take A-levels. I worked in numerous different jobs with different environments and eventually trained to be a massage therapist and a reflexologist. At this point, I started volunteering at my local hospice as a complementary therapist, and this is where I first encountered occupational therapy. I found the work they did with the patients there absolutely amazing, and their activities looked so much fun I wanted to join in. And I wanted to learn more about how I could help people to live their life more effectively. I wanted to become an occupational therapist as a result of this. I went to my local college and completed an access course and then got into Southampton University. The reason I chose Southampton University is because of its geographical location. It meant that I didn't have to relocate, losing the support network that I have in order to help look after my son while I'm at university. And since I've been on the course, it's been an amazing experience. I've met so many lovely, wonderful people who come from all over the world, and it's been fascinating learning about their cultural backgrounds. I've really enjoyed working with these people, and I really look forward to becoming an occupational therapist in the future.
So one of the skills of being an occupational therapist is self-reflection. So you can reflect on your experiences, abilities, personalities. You can use the Johari window as a model to do this. So we thought would be a nice little break throughout this video. If you draw a template of the Johari window model and fill out those little bits of the sections, so what you know about yourself, what you don't know about yourself but others do. Of course, in the section which is unknown, you can maybe draw something, so draw a question mark to represent the unknown. Future possibilities, so maybe being an OT, or if you want to go down a different career path. Pause the video here and give yourself maybe about 5 to 10 minutes to do this.
For me, OT is about not just helping, but enabling people to do the things that are important to them and be able to help themselves. The things that are important to them could be work related, could be to sit at a desk, it could be to even go to school or to ride a bike and play with their friends. It could be as simple as getting dressed or having a wash. The things that are really important to them that are going to improve their lives. And it can be rehab related. You could be working with someone after they've had an accident, injury or illness, but it can also be with ongoing conditions and progressive conditions, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. It's not just about rehabilitating people. OT is also about quality of life, and I always say it's not about adding days to life. OT is about adding life to days.
There are so many definitions for occupational therapy. Some may vary depending on the sector of work an OT is based, such as paediatrics, hand therapy, geriatrics or medical. Occupational therapists use a holistic approach when assessing an individual's needs, planning and carrying out interventions that will help them to overcome any barriers that may potentially stopping them from doing what they want to do. Holistic means that we as occupational therapists put the individual at the centre for our care and help promote independence.
Occupations are, in everyday language, considered just to be a job. However, this is not true. It is something that you do in your day, anything from self-care maybe to productivity. Therefore, an occupational therapist is someone who works to achieve these occupations which are meaningful to the client. OT is very client-centred, and so ensures that it is what the client wants to achieve, and that's how they create the goal. This is so important to occupational therapy, as there are many different ways you could help someone, but if it's not something they want to achieve, then the results probably won't be as good.
So an occupational therapist would come along and they would help that person to maintain as much independence as they possibly can throughout the rest of their life, so that people who have suffered injuries or illness are able to live their life rather than just exist. And that's why occupational therapy and occupational therapists are such a valued part of our community, helping and supporting people to live their life. Sawdust hearts have been used to support the recovery of soldiers from World War I. Queen Mary noticed the potential therapeutic benefits of decorating sawdust hearts for convalescing soldiers and organised kits to be made and distributed to the hospitals where soldiers recuperated. The kits were created to provide rehabilitation for injured and shell-shocked soldiers before they returned home to their families. These kits contained a pre-stuffed heart ready for decorating, often with pins, sequins, beads and pieces of recycled fabric. This allowed the soldiers to design the hearts and send them home to their loved ones. Providing recovery in a patient-centered way, sawdust hearts proved to have an immense therapeutic effect on the soldiers. Occupational therapy in the UK has been traced back to this time in history. Here are some of the sawdust hearts created by the occupational therapy students at Southampton University. Some of these have also been represented in the Royal College of Occupational Therapy's OT magazine. We are asking you to create your own sawdust heart using any materials you can find representing your favourite occupation. To make this eco-friendly, please use materials which are being recycled. Think about the aspects of the occupation which has meaning to you. Here is a template for you to follow when you create your own sawdust heart.
So there are loads of reasons to choose Southampton as a university to study OT. It is a Russell Group university, so they're big on research, and that means there's loads of opportunities. You get really pushed, and most of the staff also work in practice and they bring that wider experience and knowledge to the table. It's also a really diverse campus. The cohort's really small and the staff work really hard to get to know you as well. For me, I live in Southampton, but I could have commuted to a couple of other unis and it would have been easier for me to get into them as well. I had to take some exams to get into Southampton. However, I just felt when I went to the open day that the staff really valued my lived experience and work experience as a mature student, and I felt really welcome and really comfortable, and I think that's really important in a uni experience.
I personally chose to go to Southampton as the location of the campus is all in one area and has an aspect of nature, even though it is located in a large populated city. The interview process was different to the other interviews I had been to. It focused on your personality and your personal attributes rather than fully fixating on the grades required, although this was still an important part of the process. You don't know what to expect. Every day is different and exciting.
When I was choosing what university I wanted to go to, I actually decided I'd like to live at home for university, and I could just really see myself going to Southampton. One thing I loved on my open day was the lecturers, because they were just so welcoming and they made me feel really comfortable and they answered all my questions. And actually the other lecturers I've met since have all been the same. They're such a lovely bunch of staff and they actually make the effort to get to know you really well. A lot of them still work in the field. They draw on real life experiences.
Being a single parent, I did not want to relocate myself and my child to another city because I need my support network. I found the lecturers to be friendly and inviting to both myself and my child, and they also showed a very clear understanding of what it is like to study as a single parent. I found the facilities to be excellent. We particularly enjoyed the sensory room, and I found my first year at university to be a fantastic experience. I found the support from the lecturers to be of a very high standard, and that is why I chose Southampton University, because these things are all very important to me.